Today, a stunning long-range attack was carried out on Russia's missile ship Grad by Ukraine's Special Operations Forces, SSO. As a result, Russia suffered damages amounting to nearly $70 million. Moreover, here, you will know about how Ukraine orchestrated the strategy for this attack and the extent of the damage sustained by Russia. At 4:31 a.m., a Ukrainian munition struck its target deep inside Russian territory. Later that day, Ukraine's Special Operations Forces, or SSO, issued a statement confirming their involvement in the attack. The target was identified as the Grad, a Project 2-1631 Buyan-M class small missile ship, bearing the hull number 575. The strike took place in the waters of Lake Onega, located in Russia's northwestern Republic of Karelia. The significance of this location cannot be overstated, as it is situated nearly 1,000 kilometers, or approximately 620 miles, from the nearest territory under Ukrainian control. According to the SSO's initial battle damage assessment, the munition successfully struck the right side of the ship's engine compartment. Crucially, this was not an attack on a stationary docked vessel, but on an active and mobile target. The SSO statement clarified that the missile carrier was undertaking a strategic transit, navigating from the Baltic Sea towards the Caspian Sea through Russia's internal waterway system. A successful engagement against a relatively agile naval vessel on the move at such an extreme range marks a significant evolution in Ukraine's offensive capabilities. While recent Ukrainian campaigns have effectively targeted large static infrastructure like oil refineries, striking a warship under these conditions represents a far more complex military achievement. A detailed analysis of the strategic reasoning behind targeting the Grad is warranted. The vessel was not in a position to pose an immediate threat to Ukraine, as it was en route to the landlocked Caspian Sea. However, the operation appears to have been less about neutralizing an immediate tactical threat and more about delivering a powerful strategic message. Ukraine has demonstrated that its long-range assets can place high-value Russian military hardware at risk, irrespective of its location. This strike effectively eliminates the concept of a safe zone for the Russian military, even within its own borders. This event is not an isolated incident, but rather the culmination of continuously developing capabilities. On August 14th, Ukrainian forces struck the Port Olyafor, a Russian cargo vessel, at a range of about 640 kilometers. That attack, which resulted in fire damage and partial submersion, may have served as a precursor, potentially testing the operational concepts that were later employed in the more ambitious strike on the Grad. These operations align with Ukraine's broader campaign to disrupt Russian military logistics and degrade its capacity for force projection. The Grad itself was a significant asset for the Russian Navy. Commissioned into the Baltic Fleet on December 29, 2022, it was one of Russia's most modern ships. Such vessels are theoretically in a better state of repair and equipped with more advanced systems, compared to the aging Soviet-era hulls that form a large part of Russia's fleet. The loss of such a new platform represents a substantial blow. The Grad is one of 12 Buyan-M class ships, designed as river sea vessels specifically for operations in coastal and inland waters to protect Russia's internal maritime interests. Its primary armament is what made the Grad such a high-value target. The ship is equipped with a vertical launch system for Caliber NK land attack cruise missiles, also known as the 3 M14 Caliber. These missiles possess an estimated range of between 1,500 and 2,500 kilometers. From the Caspian Sea, a Caliber missile launched from the Grad could theoretically strike cities like Odessa, carrying a 450-kilogram high-explosive warhead. Some military analysts also assess that the Caliber system may be nuclear capable. By putting this ship out of commission, Ukraine has effectively removed a potent long-range strike platform from Russia's order of battle. In addition to the Caliber system, the Grad can also launch Onyx anti-ship and Zircon hypersonic cruise missiles. Its close-range defenses include a 30mm duet automatic cannon system, machine guns, and rocket launchers. However, a notable design flaw of the Buyan-M class is its minimal air defense capability, a vulnerability that the SSO appears to have expertly exploited. The specific weapon system used in yesterday's attack has not been officially disclosed by the SSO. This is likely a tactical decision intended to maintain operational security and complicate Russian efforts to develop effective countermeasures. However, An analysis of Ukraine's known arsenal suggests two primary categories of weapons capable of such a long-range strike: unmanned aerial vehicles, or indigenously developed cruise missiles. The most probable scenario involves a long-range drone. In April 2024, Ukraine's Minister of Digital Transformation, Mikhailo Fedorov, confirmed that Ukraine was producing drones with a range of 700 to 1,000 kilometers, and that newer models were exceeding this distance. Several known systems fit this description. The UJ-26 Beaver, in service since 2023, has a range of approximately 1,000 kilometers and has been utilized in strikes on Moscow. Although its 20-kilogram payload is relatively small, a precise hit on a vulnerable section like an engine room could inflict mission-critical damage. Another strong candidate is the Lyuty drone. Often compared to Russia's Shahed series, the Lyuty has a range of at least 1,000 kilometers and can carry a warhead nearly 4 times larger than the Beavers. With an estimated unit cost of around $200,000, it provides a highly cost-effective method for striking a multi-million-dollar warship. The Lyuty has been the primary tool in Ukraine's campaign against Russian oil refineries, proving its reliability and effectiveness. The second possibility is a long-range missile. Western-supplied munitions like ATACMS or Storm Shadow are not considered viable for this strike due to their range limitations and the restrictions on their use deep inside Russian territory. However, Ukraine's domestic defense industry has made significant advancements. The leading candidate in this category would be the Long Neptune, an upgraded version of the R-360 Neptune anti-ship missile, which famously sank the cruiser Moskva. While primarily designed for land attack, reports suggest it retains much of its anti-ship capability, and its projected range of 1,000 to 3,000 kilometers would be more than sufficient. Another, more powerful option is the Flamingo, a cruise missile drone hybrid with a similar range, but a massive 1.15 metric ton payload. The use of such a high-end asset on a single small missile ship seems less probable, as it would likely be reserved for larger, more strategic targets. The strike on the Grad was part of a larger coordinated series of Ukrainian operations conducted yesterday. During the same overnight period, Ukrainian drones targeted the Kirishynefte-Orgzintez oil refinery in Russia's Leningrad region. This facility is one of Russia's largest, and the attack is part of an ongoing campaign that has reportedly reduced Russia's refining capacity by up to 40%, affecting its fuel supplies for both military and civilian use. Concurrently, in the Kursk region, Ukraine's general staff confirmed successful strikes on a transporter loader vehicle for the Iskander ballistic missile system and a Garmin radar complex. Viewed together, these actions on October 4th demonstrate a comprehensive strategy aimed at systematically degrading key Russian military and economic assets across multiple domains. This latest naval strike signifies a potential shift in Ukraine's maritime strategy, having effectively neutralized the Russian Black Sea Fleet by destroying roughly 1/3 of its ships and forcing the remainder to retreat to ports further east, rendering the fleet functionally inactive. Ukraine is now expanding its operational focus. The message to the Kremlin is unambiguous. No part of the Russian Navy is safe. This asymmetric approach, which pits relatively low-cost, domestically produced drones and missiles against vastly more expensive naval hardware, continues to produce a remarkable return on investment. The Grad is estimated to have cost Russia around $70 million. If it was neutralized by a $200,000 Lyuty drone, this represents a 350-to-1 return on investment for Ukraine. The devastating impact of this loss is magnified by the dire condition of Russia's shipbuilding industry, which has been crippled by Western sanctions. The capacity to replace lost assets, like the Grad, is severely limited. Recent reports underscore this crisis. Rosmorport, Russia's state-owned port operator, had to cancel a $200 million contract with the Onega shipbuilding plant, located in the very region where the Grad was hit, for the construction of 2 icebreakers due to persistent delays linked to sanctions. Furthermore, the Khabarovsk shipbuilding plant was recently forced to lay off approximately 70% of its workforce due to a lack of new orders, materials, and funding. In conclusion, the successful strike on the Grad has exposed the Russian Navy's vulnerability in two critical ways. Tactically, it has demonstrated that modern, mobile Russian warships are unable to defend themselves against Ukraine's long-range precision weapons, even in supposedly secure rear areas. Strategically, the relentless attrition inflicted by Ukrainian forces, combined with the sanction-induced paralysis of its shipbuilding industry, means that Russia cannot replace these complex and expensive losses. Each ship destroyed represents a permanent reduction in its naval strength. Once again, Ukraine has proven that through innovation and strategic audacity, it can effectively challenge and overcome a numerically superior adversary, systematically dismantling Russia's ability to wage war.